everyone, Rob Golfi here with REMAX, the Golfi Team. I got Conrad Zerini with REMAX Escarpment, REMAX Niagara, and Brian Hogbin with Mission 35 Mortgages. And we're going to talk about a few things here. You know, are many buyers walking away from their deposits, and Toronto parking spots are costing $100,000 or more, and Brampton launches landlord licensing program, which I think is bullshit. But anyway, let's go to Conrad. I don't see it here in the Hamilton Niagara area, people walking away from their deposits now that closings are happening from people bought like 2-3 years ago. Are you seeing that?
Oh, no, you're right. The price has really escalated in Toronto, got up to like $1,400 a square foot. And, people are now they're appraising at $1,300. So people are underwater there. But not here. Like I would say, everything we've done, Waterdown, North Oakville, even,
people are managing it. It didn't skyrocket like it did in Toronto. Well, I think I read there was a development. There was 40 people that walked away from, or they couldn't close just because of the prices. Now, if RBC, now Brian, if RBC approved them, but they're only up to 3 years, right?
I think I've seen some extended, right? So people did it. And you got to remember too, with a lot of these developments, especially over the past 3-4 years, in order for the developer to get the funding, they needed a concrete letter of approval. This has been in our space for a long time. So if you had a willy-nilly, Rob's good for the money letter from a mortgage broker, they weren't accepting it. Yeah. So I think what people have to remember is and RBC, kudos to them. They did a great job of saying, we're going to appraise it today, approve it today, check all your conditions today. And so long as you didn't make any material changes, they had no look back. So if you did a good job on that, and I think they really had the market cornered with that for a long time, most of those deals will close. So regardless of if the appraised value is lower, they're not reappraising those files. They're just decide to take the loss and honor their commitments.
But the big mistake,
people are going to back out because they're underwater and they facilitate the mortgage, right?
That's a different situation, right?
Yeah.
That's a different situation.
I get it. You buy something for $1.5 million, it's only worth 1.1 or a million. It's like, okay, what do I do?
I did see a builder, because I have a new construction that's closing out of town, not too far away down the QEW, and the builder did delay all of the units. The builder called up every single person. There's probably about 200-300 people in the development and said, hey, would you be adamantly opposed if we delay this until June, July, August, September? No problem. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
I was like, yes, I'm totally.
My prayers have been answered.
But that's a builder saying hey, you know what? I think we're going to see some adjustment in the marketplace in Q2, Q3. And then he because at the end of the day, a builder doesn't want to take back all these homes at a lower price either.
No.
I thought that was actually quite a savvy move to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, that's actually awesome. But there have been some developments that people were moving into late last year, but it didn't seem like any of them not close. They actually probably found a way to close the deal or resell them. But I'm sure in Toronto, bigger city, bigger numbers and everything else like that. I could imagine. But they were saying this one development, I guess there was 40 people, like townhouses or something like that, just couldn't close. And I get it. But you know what? I'll tell you, the way the Toronto market works is that even if they overpaid on closing, they still will get they'll make that up fast, just the way the market goes. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's ever going to overpay. Now, Conrad, I know you guys I think bought a piece of land where the office is. Now,
yes.
I remember you bought that and everybody goes, wow, that was a lot of money when you bought it. Am I correct? Guess what? It's not. That's cheap now compared. Am I right? But you guys had the guts to go in and say, listen, this is going to be a great development site for whatever commercial. But and I remember talking to somebody, but who's laughing now? You are.
Well, I think you said something great there. I think people should hang on. It will catch up. The worst thing you could do is not close. You'll probably I know some of the big builders. They're going to sue. They're ready with a battery of lawyers. Yeah, and you're going to get a huge judgment against you. So,
and you're not going to be able to buy a house for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah, absolutely. So on to the next one. Okay, would you ever buy a condo downtown Hamilton if it didn't have a parking spot?
You know, it's funny. I just did a study. There was a building that got built at downtown. Believe it or not, 80% of the units that were for sale, had no parking. There were 23 units sold within the year. Okay. Now, the ones with no parking, like 231 days, 261 days, things like that. So, but eventually they did sell. But again, price per square foot, 360 for 500 square feet is a good price. So price point is good. But what I will say is this, and what I found out, because I studied the rental market pretty much all over Southern Ontario, people are looking for a break. So if they can save $50 a month on their rental, and parking is in addition, you know what? If it's a low enough price,
they'll walk around the corner to park the car.
Yeah, and they'll say, you know what? I'd rather save the $50 a month than $75 a month for rental. So that's going to catch up. But you know what? I was very surprised. 23 units sold within a year. Yeah,
really. Like, I know there's some condo developments downtown Hamilton, and I think there's one that if anything under 600,000. No parking is included,
yeah.
and there's no parking in the area. So, like, do you think they're going to struggle selling those ones as a condo buyer? Like,
well, depends what price per square foot. I think what saved this building was, like I said, the price per square foot was pretty inexpensive, and people were able to buy for 360, 500 square feet.
Right.
Which now, but look, when you're talking 1,000 a square foot at $500,000 for 5,000 for 500 square feet. That's where you're going to see some resistance. I think the parking's going to save you, and you'll rent much faster. Because look, we're still not that walkable here. I still look, even Toronto.
I think it's 20 years before we see it. I think it's 20 years where people actually live and work downtown. It's got to be 20 years.
I think, though, I will say, though, with the new to Canada, new people coming to the country right now, because we got Columbia College just down the street from where our office is. You got the residents down there. I would say for a certain segment of that population, it is fairly walkable downtown. Like it's get the amenities. I think we're not, I don't think we're 20 years away, but I think we're getting closer because a lot of those amenities are there. The restaurants, the coffee shop, the bar, the rest, like the grocery store. And I think when you get the first Ontario Centre built there, because I know they have the huge plan for that, if that ever actually gets underway with the Eaton Centre.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I may be a dreamer, but I think that will come.
Well, they
soon,
delayed.
Right?
They delayed that development. Yeah. They delayed it, which was a smart move, I think, right now to see how things are going. But I'm going to tell you, remember Jackson Square when you're driving down on James Street? Yeah. You're parked at the stoplight, and the flood of people crossing the street.
Yeah.
It was like something you would see in New York City.
Yes.
But and that's when, then after that, Lime Ridge opens up, and that's where a lot of the people, but downtown was like the spot to be in. Everybody went downtown back there in the 80s. I'll never forget that. Like, it was just jammed. Now, you don't see that. But I do think you will see that probably in 10, 20 years for sure. For sure. With all the development that's happening downtown with the towers and everything that's going up.
You got a lot of people that are going to be moving downtown. A lot of people that will be down there.
You're going to add huge population downtown. And those guys are going to go to the mall. They're going to walk to Jackson Square, if it's still going to be called Jackson Square back in the future. I'm sure somebody else is going to throw some money and change the name on that one. But absolutely. And that's when. But I didn't even think about the immigrants coming in, that they usually use the buses and the transit systems.
Yeah, and eventually when we see LRT take flight.
Oh, my God.
I know you're going to kill me on this, but it's
you're an optimist, man, Brian.
I am. I got my glasses on to look smarter today, too, for these comments. But you know what? I think that when that comes, you will see it. And maybe to Rob's point, it is 20 years down the road, but you get people moving from east to west. And you do get a amazing conference center, like not conference center, but stadium. Like when they redo Cops Coliseum, I've seen some plans for what they're planning for that, and it's going to be better than the ACC. Like that's going to draw in a lot of people, and I think more and more businesses will come around there and want to live near there as well too. But again, how long?
Downtown, you know what I just noticed? I never noticed it before. Carmen's do they have something there at the old Eaton Center there?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they have offices there. Yeah, you're right. Because they had that precinct consortium that is doing all the like the convention center, gallery, and the Cops Coliseum. But yeah, I spoke to the guys behind the new Cops, right? They're really hustling. They're talking about it's going to be a concert venue. So they're talking like maybe over 100 concerts a year. So
I think
would be awesome.
Well, and I think what they did was they got permission possibly to blow the budget out 3 times, which sounds crazy at first, but the idea is they make it so much more logistically capable of handling the Taylor Swift or handling the big group. And then if it's more capable of those types of concerts, the people want to come here, like the entertainer wants to come, because then they make more money. If it's easier for them to come in and set up, they'll come here all the time. So I think that'll be great.
That would be awesome. I'd love to see the downtown core like just start thriving. The only big mistake that was made, I think, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but they should have had the Tim Hortons field in downtown.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who who was mayor at the time of that. I'm not saying I'm blaming the mayor, but
for sure Eisenberger was there.
No, I think it was before that. Was it Bettina?
Really?
No. I don't know. I think it was before Fred.
Well, you got to remember, Chad Collins was very involved because the other spot was going to be Centennial, and Chad put the veto on that.
Yeah.
No, and the North End. They had the North End Pier 4 as an idea as well, too.
That would have been superb for businesses downtown. It would have been fantastic. And we went backwards in Hamilton for putting it exactly where it was.
Yeah. And the LRT should have gone north-south then. Then north-south, bring people from the mountain down to the downtown and back and forth into the north end to the pier. That would have been amazing. But Hamilton is
So anyway, hey, we were trying to solve everything. Yes. One last thing. Brampton launches landlord licensing program to crack down on illegal rentals. Are you kidding me? We need these illegal rentals right now just because there's a shortage of freaking rentals. If they took out every illegal rental, we have more than a crisis on our hands. Like $300. You think I'm going to go to the city and say, "Hey, I've got a rental here. I'll pay you $300 so I can keep using it." Are you kidding? With mortgage rates and inflation?
If you fix the landlord-tenant board, if you put all these issues into fixing the landlord-tenant board, I think you'd probably have a better outcome. Because then the mom and pop landlord might get back into business. The mom and pop landlord who actually do provide a good house, a good service, a good place, they might buy another one and provide another good, safe place.
You're absolutely right. They're hearing too many nightmare stories about these tenants that are taking advantage of the system, and I get it. There are bad landlords out there, and there are bad tenants out there. But don't take advantage of the system. Like if a homeowner or a landlord wants to sell the property, sorry, like that's the deal the way it is. Like you should have signed a 5-year lease or a 2-year lease so that you're locked in. But I mean, hey, when you rent a place. You take the risk of that landlord selling. So there is a property that I have, this young family, they asked me, they were bumped out of their house, and they, because the landlord sold, they asked me, will you ever sell this place? I said, you know what, as long as you're a tenant here, I will not sell it. And I promised them that, and I will honor that because that's how I operate. Now, like if they moved out, I would consider maybe selling it or re-renting it. It depends. But they want to raise their kid in that neighborhood, and I want to see that kid grow up there. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
So,
nice.
But these illegal apartments, I get it. There's a lot of them out there. I get they don't have the big windows in the basement where if there's a fire they have to escape. But I mean, we're like, if you get rid of them all, we got problems. More problems than we got.
Don't you think the Hamilton house homelessness issue is in part and parcel with that? Look, you got to understand, Brampton's got a huge industrial base. I have friends that own businesses there. They're really alarmed by this because they're saying, a lot of the people that come, sometimes it's seasonal work that they do in manufacturing, and these people can't afford. So it's going to just cause a huge issue with with employment and shelter and homelessness. It's just a terrible thing to do at this point.
You know what? They're gonna want licensing. I mean, I remember when every dog, every cat, every
Yeah,
goldfish, every freaking
Yeah.
hamster needs a freaking license. Like, what the heck? Thank God you know what? If I had the Humane Society or whoever, the pet people, whatever, they come knocking on my door. Thank God my dog's old. He's deaf. He won't be barking, so nobody knows I got a dog at my house. You know, he gets startled when I walk by him. I'm like, oh my God, somebody's beside me. He's like, you know what I mean? Like, but I truly feel that leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let it go. And we need these apartments. I mean, they're pushing for apartments to be built, and now they're trying to take it. They're trying to, charge people for it. Totally wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What else?
Cool.
Anything else happening? We're almost done.
Market's on fire. Market's on fire.
It is. It's picking up. It's picking up. I'll tell you, man.
Confidence is back. So cool.
It is,
Yeah.
and especially with the news that interest rates will be coming down in this year sometime. I truly believe the first half of last year was good, but the second half wasn't. But 2024, first half is going to be good, and so is the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right,
I agree.
guys.
Great.
All right, thanks for being on. We'll catch you next week, and thanks for listening, everybody, and share.
Thanks.